Terror at the Sterling, best scene.
February 2013.
Not another deadbeat. I grimaced while scanning through the morning messages. I knew those two hookers wouldn't last, but hey, sales are down and the current ex-GM, who couldn't cut the mustard, insisted I rent the room to the fine ladies of the evening. Well, shit. Now I've got to tell them to hit the road. Oh well, it's a job and someone's got to do it. Pouring a cup of coffee and munching on the morning's jelly donut and banana, I reminisced about my foray last night with Tammy. Her acrobatic sexual rompings washed away the thoughts of the upcoming eviction. She sure knows how to curl my toenails. I'll wait till Ronnie Johnson gets in to help escort our ladies to different accommodations and perhaps a different county. I hope they haven't decided to trash the room. Every time a customer decides we no longer accept their money, they have a nasty bit of rearranging our fine accessories and furnishings. I shudder with the thought of the last group I was a party to. 6 months ago, RJ, the desk clerk manager, told me he needed help throwing out the thugs in 704. It wasn't pretty. RJ tried to be nice with the eviction, but these guys must have been high or tripping out on a new designer drug. No matter how hard we tried to reason with them, the message wasn't registering. They swore up and down they paid the rent and produced a receipt from 1973. What the fuck? 1973? The date of 1973 reminded me of the story I'd heard years ago surrounding the stately old lady by an elderly gentleman I met in a bar one night who claimed to have been a busboy back in the day. In her heyday, she was one of the grandest hotels in Dallas. The developers built her to handle Mary Kay conventions and Dallas Cowboy games. It was a hopping joint back then. Nothing but the highest rollers and social elites could afford the posh accommodations. The penthouse offered the largest dance floor in the city and a top-shelf swingers club, the San Sushi. The parties hosted at the club were legendary. The only blemish for the establishment occurred in 1973. Apparently, two high-ranking escorts decided to have an after-party with some of the patrons. The male guests were notable oil men with a thirst for the sexual macabre. The girls promised them they would exceed their expectations in every way. Police responded to the hotel after receiving a cryptic phone call. The caller never identified herself. She only said, "We're back." The police report detailed a room of horrors beyond imagination. Blood-stained carpets, body parts in the bathroom, smashed furniture, male heads replaced lamps. The remains were those of the oilmen. I was told the most bizarre part in the report for room 914 was the mention of a cold wind seeping through the room like a fog, and the words, "fresh meat," spelled in blood on the bathroom mirror. The women? They were never caught. No one else I talked to could ever substantiate the story from the old-timer. We met the pair in front of the alcove, barring the door. "Look, guys, we're trying to be nice here. Pack up your items and please leave. Rent's 10 days past due, and we have to let you two go." The pleading look in their eyes ran shivers up my spine. The smell coming out of the room was horrid. It reminded me of 100 pounds of 2-week-old roadkill on State Highway 183. You know the smell. It permeates the interior of your car and clothes. No matter how high you turn on the AC with all the windows down, you can't shake it. And if you ever breathed it in with an open mouth, I need to think about Tammy again. That's better. I looked at RJ. "Do you think they're high?"
I don't know, man. I know we need to get them out of here. Look, guys, we need to examine the room and make sure this isn't any damage.
They didn't budge. It was as if their feet were set in stone, glued to the floor. These weren't the usual wimps that hung out at the hotel. These guys were each 6'4", about 250 pounds. Side by side, they were a formidable force. Maybe the Cowboys could use their help. Lord knows they need it. RJ politely asked to see the room again. They didn't move.
No, I'll go call the cops. We'll have a look inside.
Okay, RJ, be careful. He was no slouch himself at 5'11", and a lean, mean 195 pounds. He was training to play for the Carolina Panthers. His baby brother was already on the team, and he wasn't going to be outdone.
Hey, Mel, I got this. Just get the cops here in case my bros give me trouble.
Okay. I was no more than 15 feet down the hallway dialing 911 when I heard a blood-curdling scream.
911, what's your emergency?
This is Mel with the Sterling Hotel. I'm not sure. Give me just a second.
911, sir, you need to claim your emergency.
I couldn't speak as I rushed back to the room. The two blue-chip prospects were standing side by side in the hallway, shaking like a long-tailed tomcat in a room of rockers. "Where's RJ?" Neither one spoke. Their faces resembled characters from Night of the Living Dead, pale and lifeless. They only pointed to the open door. "RJ? RJ!" I was feeling panic well up in my stomach as I passed by the pair, entering the open door. The smell was overwhelming. I wrenched up the coffee and jelly donut. RJ was heaving in the sink, white as a ghost. First time I could say, and hopefully the last time I saw a black man turn white. Blood splatters covered the wall. The threadbare carpet was covered in crimson liquid. The queen-size bed was shattered in 100 pieces. The statuesque mirror adorning the wall lay mangled on the floor, smashed to pieces. My God!
911, please, sir. What's your emergency?
The words were trapped in my throat. I thought I was caught in a time warp back to the days of Stephen King's The Shining. I could almost see the two little girls who wanted to play, spelling out the words Red Rum.
Sir, we have dispatched a unit to your location. Please stay on the line.
RJ threw up again. I joined him, splashing particles of donut, banana, and coffee on the floor. I stared aghast as the carpet digested the contents. I regained my breath, wiping off the last bits of stomach acid. I forced to speak, choking back acid. RJ, what happened in here?
I don't know, man. I am getting the hell out of here. Let the cops deal with it.
I couldn't have agreed more, but I wanted one more look before I left the bloodbath. I should have exited with him. I looked at the window overlooking the parking lot. The curtains were stained with gray and white matter. The AC unit was gone, leaving a gaping hole in the wall. The north wind blew through the cavernous crater, filling the room with an eerie pall. As I stared at the debacle, I know I saw two female faces take shape in the void. I heard scratching on the large single-pane window. The words, "We'll be back," were etched in blood. I ran out screaming. The two occupants never moved as I pushed past them looking for my partner.
911, sir, we have a unit on site. Please tell me your location.
Regaining my breath, I half-squeaked out, "Room 704, please, hurry." I stumbled down the corridor, attempting to purge the ghastly sight from my memory banks and find JR. I found him bent over in front of the elevators. What the hell do you think happened in there?
I don't know, man. I don't ever want to see anything like that again. I just know we gotta let the cops handle this. Did you look in the bathroom?
Some of the color was returning to his face. The doors dinged and opened. Two of Dallas's finest exited. The officers were physically fit and daunting. The older of the two, wearing 3 stripes on his right sleeve, began the questioning.
Who called in the emergency?
The look in his eyes told us he was ready for bear. Not being able to develop an intelligent thought, I raised my phone.
Which room and how many?
I panted out, 704, 2. He asked no more questions. Motioning his partner, they vanished around the corner. After we directed the officers to the offending room, RJ continued his tale.
Man, the bathroom was covered in blood from floor to ceiling.
He was turning white again.
The shower curtains had intestines hanging from the curtain hanger, and I swear I saw an arm hanging outside the tub.
I felt the bile rise in my throat again. I fought back the urge to empty on the marble floor. RJ, I think it's going to be all right. The short discussion allowed us a chance to regain our lost composure. A few minutes passed. No warning shouts issued. No shots fired. Nothing. Silence. RJ, think we should have a look?
I don't know, man.
The elevator dinged again. 2 more cops busted out the doors.
Where's Sergeant Davis and Officer Jones?
Trepidation rang in their voices. We haphazardly pointed the way. Without a word, they disappeared down the hallway. Again, no shouts, no yelling, no warning shots. What the hell? RJ, I can't take it any longer. I'm going down to the room.
Okay, man, let's do it.
We cautiously made our way down the long, poorly lit path. I couldn't help to think each step was taking us closer and closer to an unknown hell. RJ, where are the cops?
I don't know, man. Let's take this slow and easy.
We inched our way closer to the room. Our concentration was rudely interrupted by the current occupants' voices.
Hey, man! We're moving as fast as we can. Don't rush a brother.
I quizzically looked at RJ. Sergeant Davis appeared from the small foyer with a look of disgust and resentment.
Next time you boys have a problem, call someone who gives a damn.
He huffed past us with his partner and the other 2 officers. I know I heard them call out "chicken shits" as they walked toward the elevators. We looked at each other dumbfounded. The 2 evictees appeared next with all of their worldly possessions packed away in worn-out suitcases and duffel bags. They too gave us an unendearing look. Not directing a comment at either of us, the largest one couldn't contain himself.
Hey, bro. We told you we'd pay you today. Calling the cops wasn't cool, man. To a bunch of chicken shits.
We stared at each other in confusion.
Man, it's gonna cost us a fortune to fix the room up. We might need to call the hazmat team.
I agree, RJ. Let's see the damage first before calling out the dogs. What greeted us wasn't a dungeon of doom. The room was immaculate, with the exception of the worn carpet. Nothing was out of place. What the hell? We both exclaimed.